And when I started, I could feel her head right here, and I've been doing this over the course of an hour and a half or so, and just gently, gently, gently massaging her down this way. And then I felt her head about here, then about here, and then Bill helped me get the last little bit and put a little bit of pressure right here, and I pulled right here. So that means her back is now over here. It was over here. I think we have succeeded. It's Amanda with Eat, Pray, Crunch, and this is my update for week 36. So, big news this week. I am almost certain that we got baby girl to turn head down. So excited. So excited! You know, I told you we had tried everything to get her to turn. I had been doing my inversions and my breech tilt, and I had done handstands in the pool. I had tried the ice and the heat on my belly. I had tried just about everything. And you know, as I discussed last week, I had kind of started coming to terms with the idea of, well, it may just be that she's gonna stay breech, maybe she's stuck that way, like, and I had really just kind of spiritually come to terms with that. You can check out last week's video in the description below. You know, I was starting to come to the terms with the possibility that I may have to have a C-section if she just wasn't going to turn. We were going to, you know, this next week, if she hadn't turned, we were going to go into an OB and have an external version done where they physically move, like turn her around. Anyway, so I was like, I've tried just about everything. The only thing I hadn't tried was using the peppermint essential oil. You're supposed to put that by baby's head, and it's supposed to have this cooling effect, like same kind of effect as putting ice on your belly, and they're supposed to turn away from it. And honestly, I was super skeptical about that. I'm like, I don't really think that an oil can penetrate that far, like to the uterus through the skin, you know. And I was like, it doesn't hurt anything to try. I had peppermint oil, I had coconut oil as a carrier, and I was like, let me just read up on how people have claimed that this has worked for them. So what I did is I found this blog and I started reading it, and this lady was talking about how she had gotten her breech baby to turn using peppermint oil. So the way she described that she did it was that, I can't remember if she used coconut oil as a carrier or not, or just a few drops of the peppermint essential oil, and that she had just, like, you know, she felt where baby's head was, and she just kind of gently massaged baby in the direction that she wanted to go with the peppermint oil. Wasn't pushing her or anything, it was just, you know, massaging in the direction that she wanted baby to go. And she said that she did this when she had a chunk of time, like when her son was asleep for the night or down for a nap or whatever, and her husband was available to help if necessary, just setting aside a good hour or so to do this. And she said to do it when baby was being active, so that baby's movements can help you along. So I was like, well, let's just give this a try. Ain't got nothing to lose. You know, after I read this little blog post, I just, you know, it was during Alex's nap, it was over the weekend, and Bill was there with me to help if needed. And I was like, okay, we just put Alex down, that means we'll have a good hour and a half or two of just peace and quiet and time for me to just really focus on it. And I had this feeling about it, like, it was almost like it was a God thing. I don't even know how to quite describe it. It felt like this is what you're supposed to do right now. And everything about it felt right. And even though, like, my logical head was skeptical, like, my heart was saying, this is what you should do right now. And so I did it. So I propped myself up on the couch with my little wedge thing that I have for pregnancy massage actually. So I was at a nice 45-degree angle, you know, reclining a little bit so that there was space. My abdominal muscles were relaxed, my uterus was relaxed, there was space for her to turn, and she was actually moving during this time. So I was like, perfect, let's do it. So I got some coconut oil and I got my peppermint oil. I just got a bunch of coconut oil and like slathered it on there. So it was just a nice emollient for my hands, and I put a few drops of the peppermint oil right where her head was, and I just kind of like massaged it into my skin. And I, like this lady described in her blog, I just gently started massaging in the direction I wanted her to go. And her head was kind of like on my upper right side when I started, and after about 5-10 minutes, like I felt her head move just a few inches, like not very far, but just a little bit. I was like, oh, I think she's moving a little bit. This is the most I have felt her move, even if it's just a few inches, like of all the things I've tried. So I was like, okay, this is a good sign, I'll keep going. So at that point, I actually decided to start like using a little bit of pressure, not just massaging the skin, but actually like basically doing an external version on myself, but really slowly and really gently. Now, I would not necessarily recommend for anyone to just do this at home. I just have this feeling when I tell my midwife that I did this, that she's gonna go, you know, you know, because usually they have an OB do it because there are risks to doing an external version, right? You know, risks with the umbilical cord and the placenta and whatnot. And so, you know, I knew all of this in my head, but I honestly just in that moment I prayed about it. And I had already felt like this was kind of like a God thing that was happening. And I told myself, if I feel like I have some sort of gut feeling that I shouldn't be doing this, I would stop. Or if I felt any sort of pain, if anything felt off, I would just stop. And so, and that's what I told myself. I was just like really paying attention, and just, you know, if I got any strong feeling to stop, I would stop. But I never got that feeling, and it just felt right, and she was moving. So I went with it and took matters in my own hands, so to speak. So I kept going. And she, at this point, she was diagonal. I could tell her head had moved several inches, and she was like almost transverse, like sideways in my belly. And so I just very gently, over the period of an entire hour and a half, this took an entire hour and a half, it was so slow and gentle. So I got to the point where I could feel her little head was sideways, and you can actually see, Bill actually took footage of me doing this, and I will put in a few clips of that after my description here. But you can see that my belly looks really wide, and you can actually see the shape of her turning. You know, the first clip, you can see that she's kind of diagonal head up, and then you can see that my belly is really wide and that she's sideways. It's quite something. And then at that point, I got her just a little bit further, and then she was kind of diagonal downwards so that her head, I could feel it like on my hip bone. And actually my hand was starting to get tired from doing that pressure because I'd been doing it for an hour. And so I asked Bill for his help, and he came over and helped me. And I had him put his hands where mine had been, where her head was, and just apply really gentle pressure while I used my hands to help lift her butt a little bit. And so it was like almost to the end, and I could feel her moving in there. I could just like, I could tell that she was moving. It just felt right. And so after that last little nudge, I declared victory. Like I could feel that she had gotten past that diagonal spot where her head was on my hip, and it just felt like she was all the way down. I think we may be successful here. I've been using some peppermint oil where her head was up here when I started, and used coconut oil, I have in a spoon here, as a carrier oil, and I've just been massaging her around in the way that I want her to go. And I think we're succeeding. We're may be succeeding. She is definitely transverse now. You can now see her head is down here. I can feel her little butt here. I think we're succeeding. Monitoring her heart rate with my fetal Doppler the whole time. And when I started, I could feel her head right here, and I've been doing this over the course of an hour and a half or so, just gently massaging her down this way, and then I felt her head about here, then about here, and then Bill helped me get the last little bit and put a little bit of pressure right here, and I pulled right here. And we just checked where her heartbeat was. Originally, I found her heartbeat over on this side, and I found it down here, and now I'm finding it over here. There it is. I don't know if you can hear that on the camera or not. So that means her back is now over here. It was over here. I think oh my gosh, like at the end of that, I was like, I can't believe that we just did that. Like, did that really just work? Did that really just happen? And, you know, this whole time we have, you know, my fetal Doppler, and so we monitored her heartbeat the whole time, like every 5-10 minutes we would check on her heartbeat. It was totally fine. So, confession, that's what we did. I kind of did an external version on myself. And so I know it's probably frowned upon. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that anybody just do this, like, because there are risks, and like, you know, I was really praying about it. It felt right. I'm a massage therapist. Like, my sense of touch is like really refined. Like, I am able to tell the difference between individual muscles in people's bodies, and like even layers of muscles, like I can, you know, and identifying different bones and like ligaments even just with my hands. You know, that's what they train us to do in massage therapy. I was quite certain that what I was feeling was her head versus her butt, especially since she's so big now. It's a lot easier to tell, and just, you know, really in tune with my body. Like, I just felt like if something was really wrong, like I would know. I would feel it in my body, you know. And so between those two things and it just feeling right, we decided to do it. But anyway, so, you know, this is not something that I am like highly recommending to anybody in this situation, but I'm just saying that that's what we ended up doing, and it ended up working beautifully. So, oh my god, she's head down now. It's been several days now that she's been head down. I'm pretty sure she hasn't flipped back, because I have started feeling so much kicking up top. And she's been breech for so many months, and I was so used to her like kicking my bladder and kicking my cervix. And now all of those kicks are up top. I had mentioned that she wasn't a super active baby, and she's still not super active, but now that I've turned her, it's like something about that has given her more space. And I feel her so much more. Just in the last few days, I feel like I have felt her, you know, way more than I was feeling her before. It's kind of cool, and it gives me so much reassurance, and, you know, especially that she's okay. So even after I did this, you know, I monitored her heart rate a few times, you know, into the evening after I did this, and the next day too, to make sure that she was okay after me doing this, and she was totally fine, strong heartbeat. and I've been continuing to just feel all this movement from her. And it's like she is freed up in there. She is in the right position. We are good to go now. I am so happy and thanking God. You know, it's so funny because, you know, I had said last week that this always happens in my life. Like when I finally get to the point of surrender, when I like truly deep in my heart, like give up control, like that's when things change. I guess it's just a life lesson that I need to learn over and over again, that it's like, I don't ultimately have control over these things. Even though I was doing this with my hands, like it almost felt like God was working through me. It felt more like a God thing than me trying to take control. It's kind of like this idea that, you know, God can't work through you unless you're moving, unless you're being active. You can have all the faith you want, you can pray all you want, but if you're just like sitting on your bum, nothing is gonna happen. It's like the way God works through us is by giving us those promptings and us acting on them. And I really feel like this was one of those situations. I just feel like I have so much peace of mind now. Anyway, so that's like the biggest thing this week. So last weekend it was Valentine's Day, and since I am so pregnant and uncomfortable, like we just kept things pretty low key. It was a gorgeous sunny day, and so we actually just went for a little walk. We went to a park that's somewhat near our house, and kind of went later in the afternoon, and we walked this trail that kind of goes around the edge of the park, and it's kind of like on a wetland, and you can see the Olympic Mountains off in the distance, and the sun was starting to set. It was just beautiful. It was just really nice. Oh my gosh, it is February and it is spring here in Washington right now. Like all the trees are starting to blossom, like all of the frogs have come out of hibernation, and like we actually have some ponds and wetlands around our house. And at night, it is insane. There are so many, like thousands and thousands of frogs. It sounds like crickets, but even louder. It's kind of cool, actually. We, you know, got to hear all those frogs on our walk, and we took Alex to a playground that was there, and he got to go on the swing and the slide. It was a really nice quality family time. It was a really nice way to spend Valentine's Day. And for dinner, we just went to Papa Murphy's, and on Valentine's Day, they make heart-shaped pizzas. And so that's what we had for dinner on Valentine's Day. It was cute. Bill brought me a dozen roses, and I got him some chocolate. He got me some chocolate too, and it was just really low-key. We had a little, after we put Alex to bed, we just had a little candlelight dinner with our heart-shaped pizza. And so really chill, really nice Valentine's Day. And then Sunday was my baby shower slash sprinkle. We were calling it a sprinkle just because it was like second baby. It's not as big of a deal. Like I already have most of the stuff that I need in terms of baby gear, you know, from having Alex before. But this was more to like get baby girl clothes and just a few items that we needed that we didn't have already. So when I was pregnant with Alex, the baby shower that we had was huge. I think we probably had like 30-40 people there. It was a lot of people. It was crazy. But you know, this time I was like, you know what? I just want the people who are the very closest people in my life to come to this. Like, I just want this to be low key. I don't want it to be a big deal. You know, I just want it to be a good time with some of my favorite women, you know? And that is exactly what it was. I was just so pleasantly surprised that like almost everybody that we invited came, and it was like 17, 18 people, something like that, a mix of my closest friends and family. You know, I just feel like there are so few occasions in your life when you have like all your favorite people together in one place, you know? And it seems like big life events are like that, like weddings, baby showers, you know, that kind of thing. Because it was the people like that are closest in my life, it just had this really good energy there. And you know, people were having a good time with the games that we played, and you know, I had some friends meet each other and make connections. A couple of my friends brought their babies. You know, I said this is a kid-friendly event. Alex came, you know, after his nap. Bill brought him down later, so you know, there were a few kiddos around. All of my friends, almost all of us are mothers now, and so we were like all bonding over mother-related stuff. And so yeah, it was so nice. I felt so much love that day. And everybody was just so generous. People like gave way more gifts than I was like expecting. I felt so spoiled. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't even need all this stuff, you know, but I just felt so blessed that, and so loved that people were like, you know, showering me with all these things. I had put on the invitation to, you know, not get too much pink stuff, and people like totally paid attention to that and got the most adorable girly clothes that weren't pink. It was awesome. And so, oh my gosh, this little girl is going to be so well dressed. So yeah, and we just got a few just baby items that we needed as well. You know, I think I will actually do a baby shower haul just to show you some of the highlights, the things I got from that. So anyway, it was just a wonderful, wonderful shower. I just really enjoyed being around all my favorite women. You know, these people in my life energize me. I just realized, like, I am so thankful for these amazing people that are in my life. I'm like, oh, I have the most awesome friends and family. I really do. Anyway, wonderful experience at my shower. So, in terms of symptoms this week, it's about the same as always. Got the normal hip pain that is exacerbated when I go walking. I do think the chiropractic is helping that a bit. Same old there. I am getting so big now that I feel like I have to wear my maternity belt, you know, almost all the time. If I'm going to be standing, I need to be wearing a maternity belt because it's just a strain on my abdominals. So I've been wearing that more. You know, same as last week, my energy has just been so low. It's like low energy, low motivation. I have been so lazy. Like seriously, I've been so lazy. Like the only thing I have the energy to do is like things that are directly related to preparing for baby, like organizing things, making purchases of last minute things that we still need, and like finishing my birth plan. You know, I've done all those things now, but like everything else, it just feels like, ugh, I don't have the energy to do my normal life right now. I'm so tired. I have zero energy to cook right now. I do it because I have to feed my family. But even there are a lot of nights where it's like, I'm sorry, Bill, you're on your own. You know, you can make yourself a sandwich. Like all my motivation for cooking has just gone out the window. So it's just been like, easy stuff, totally in a rut right now, but I'm going with it, you know. Like Alex's meals are the same every day. No creativity right now, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm giving myself grace. It's only a few more weeks. This is just how it's gonna be, and it's gonna be okay, and I will get back into it. But yeah, in terms of eating too, because I have no energy to prepare food, like it's bad. Like some days I just have not been eating very much because I don't have the motivation to prepare stuff. I know, I'm so lazy. And so like sometimes I'll get to like the evening and I am like really low blood sugar and I'm like, oh boy, I really should make myself something because I'm getting hangry. And you know, it's like when I do eat, sometimes I'm just like so lazy and I'm like, I'm just gonna have a bowl of cereal because I just don't have the energy to eat anything else. And so I've been really lax on how many carbs I've been eating. Like I've been so good about it most of my pregnancy, but it's like these last couple weeks of my pregnancy, I'm just like, pfft. I just, you know, all that is out the window. Like I'm still making a point to eat some fruits and vegetables every day, and I usually still have 2 eggs every morning. You know, I'm still getting pretty good nutrition, but you know, it's not as good as it was earlier in the pregnancy. So, but I figure another thing I'm just going to give myself grace on because there are just a couple more weeks left, and you know, I am tired, I'm growing a baby. So that's really it in terms of symptoms this week. Nothing really new this week. The other thing that came up this week is, you know, I'm a massage therapist, and my massage license renews every year on my birthday, and my birthday's in May. And I had this realization, like when my renewal came in the mail, I was like, oh my God, I need to do my continuing education hours. Like being a mom, my massage business has basically been entirely off the radar since Alex was born. I think I have given 1 massage since Alex was born. You know, and then we were moving, and then I was pregnant and on bed rest, and now I'm, you know, it's like now I'm way too big to massage, you know, and so just massage just has not been on my mind. And so I just had this realization that, oh my God, I have to do 24 hours of continuing education. And when they say 24 hours, it's like 24 credits. And so it's like, I have to do this by mid-May. And 8 of those hours have to be hands-on instruction with in a supervised class. And so it's like, oh my God, I am almost 37 weeks pregnant and I have to get this done before baby girl arrives, because there is no way that I am going to be able to do hands-on massage once I have a newborn. That's not happening. And so, oh my gosh, I had this moment of panic last night where I was like, I can't believe that I let this slip by. Like, it has just been so off my radar that it just didn't even occur to me that I should have been doing my continuing education hours over the last year. So I freaked out, and like, I made a post on my Facebook page in the group of all of my former massage classmates and asking like, I'm freaking out, like I realized it's like last minute and I really need to get these hands-on massage continuing education hours, and you know, help me, like I don't know where to look, where to find something that's like close by. And thank goodness, that's one reason I love Facebook, because it is so amazing for crowdsourcing. You can really get a lot of answers, and it's a really good resource just tapping into everybody's knowledge. And so I'm so thankful I did that, because some of my friends said, oh, here's some websites that you can go to find classes, like here's a website that are local classes in the area. And so this must be another God thing, but I found a continuing education class for this coming Sunday, and it is 10 minutes from my house. Like, I was fearing that I was going to have to drive an hour all the way into the city. And so it was just such a blessing that my friends came together and gave me all these resources. And I found a class that's just 10 minutes from my house, and you know, it's all day Sunday, but I talked to the instructor. She said, we're all equipped to make accommodations for pregnant women. And so, so I'm so thankful. I'm going to get my 8 hands-on hours this Sunday. Should still be interesting though, sitting in a classroom for 8 hours and trying to do massage on people. But it is like head and neck work, which is mostly, I will be able to sit doing that kind of work, so I won't have to worry about massaging people with my belly bumping into them. This has kind of ended up being this like last minute stress on me, but I think it's going to work out. The rest of the hours I have to do can be done entirely online, which is awesome. I can do the rest of them from home. So that's going to be my focus for the next few weeks, is just getting that done before baby girl arrives. Because I found this class, like I have this feeling like it's going to be okay. I'm going to get my hours done. My license is not going to lapse, so we're going to be in good shape. So that's it for this week, you guys. I will show you my 36-week belly. Here is the belly for 36 weeks. I can just feel my belly stretching right now. She is growing so much. I can just feel the strain and the stretch a little bit more every day. And this side. Thank you so much for watching, and if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you're just joining me on this journey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button below, and I'll be giving you lots more updates. There's obviously going to be a lot of big changes happening in the next month or so. So be sure to stay tuned for all of that, and I hope you guys are having a great week, and I will see you next week. Bye.